PGP Key Management Best Practices for Organizations. PGP encryption can be your organization's best friend or a ticking time bomb. It all depends on how well you manage the keys. PGP, short for Pretty Good Privacy, is a widely respected method for securing email and file communication. But while the encryption itself is rock solid, the real challenge lies in PGP key management, that is, how your organization generates, stores, distributes, revokes, and backs up those keys over time. Many organizations adopt PGP to meet security or compliance requirements, but fail to treat key management with the seriousness it deserves. And in that oversight lies the problem. Poorly managed keys have led to everything from inaccessible email accounts to full-blown data breaches. So let's talk about how to avoid that. This video breaks down the best practices for handling PGP keys within your organization with a strong focus on key lifecycle, revocation procedures, and backup strategies, the three pillars of a robust encryption strategy. Understanding the lifecycle of a PGP key. Just like employee IDs or software licenses, PGP keys have a natural life cycle. They're born, key generation, they work, encryption and decryption, and eventually they retire, expiration, or revocation. It all starts with key creation. This is the stage where you generate a key pair, which is a public key that others use to encrypt messages to you, and a private key that only you can use to decrypt those messages. Sounds simple, right? But even here, things can go wrong. Weak key lengths, improper algorithms, and insecure generation environments can set the stage for disaster later. As a rule of thumb, organizations should generate RSA keys at 4096-bit strength, or better yet, adopt modern elliptic curve algorithms like Curve 25519, which offer similar security with faster performance. Once the key is in use, you've entered the active phase of the key lifecycle. This is where PGP key management becomes a daily concern. It's not enough to just hand over a key and hope for the best. You need to monitor its usage, ensure it's not compromised, and establish clear policies around how long it should stay active. Expiration dates are a helpful tool here. They give keys a defined lifespan, which reduces the risk of old, forgotten keys becoming security liabilities. A 1 or 2 year validity period is a good standard for most organizations. When the expiration date nears, the key can either be renewed or replaced, depending on internal policy. Eventually, all keys reach the end of their life. That's when the revocation phase begins, and if you're not prepared, this is where things can get messy. The importance of revocation procedures. A compromised PGP key is like a stolen ID badge. It opens doors you didn't mean to leave unlocked. That's why revocation isn't just a formality, it's a security requirement. The tricky part is that PGP doesn't have a central authority like HTTPS certificates do. Instead, it relies on revocation certificates, a kind of kill switch you create when you first generate the key. This certificate tells others this key should no longer be trusted. Here's where many organizations drop the ball. They forget, or even worse, never bother to create that revocation certificate at the start. Then, when a key gets lost, compromised, or needs to be retired, they find themselves stuck. They can't revoke the key because the private key is missing and they never created a revocation cert. At that point, you're left relying on trust that no one will use the old key. That's not a comfortable position to be in. If you don't generate a revocation certificate up front, you're betting your company's security on a USB stick not getting lost. That's not a bet worth making. The way out. So what's the solution? Bake revocation procedures into your PGP key management policy. Make it mandatory for every user or admin to generate and securely store a revocation certificate at the time of key creation. Store it offline in a secure vault and ensure it's accessible to a designated administrator in case of emergency. In larger teams, it's also wise to maintain a revocation log, a centralized list of keys that have been revoked, along with the reasons and timestamps. This ensures that your organization has a clear audit trail and can inform all parties when a key is no longer valid. Backing up keys without backing yourself into a corner. If there's one mistake nearly as bad as losing control of a private key, it's losing access to it altogether. In the PGP world, there's no password reset or recovery link. If the private key is gone and you don't have a backup, your encrypted data is as good as lost. This is why secure backup strategies are a cornerstone of effective PGP key management. But the keyword here is secure. Backing up a private key to your desktop or emailing it to yourself is not just lazy, it's dangerous. So how do you back up private keys the right way? First, encrypt the backup itself using a strong passphrase or store it in an encrypted container, such as Veracrypt. Then move that encrypted backup to secure offline storage. This could be a physically secured USB drive, a hardware token, or an air-gapped storage device stored in a secure facility. Some organizations take things a step further by implementing multi-location redundancy, keeping backups in 2 geographically separate secure locations. That way, even in the case of physical disasters like fire or theft, at least one copy survives. Access controls are another critical layer. Backups should never be accessible to just anyone. Use role-based access to ensure only designated personnel, usually from IT or compliance teams, can handle key backups. And always log who accesses backup storage and when. Regular testing is often overlooked but vitally important. Every few months, simulate a key loss scenario and try restoring from backup. It's better to discover flaws in your backup process during a drill than in the middle of a crisis. Centralized oversight without overcomplication. As your organization scales, individual users managing their own PGP keys becomes unsustainable. That's when centralized key management needs to come into play. This doesn't mean controlling every user's keys directly, but rather setting up policies, infrastructure, and oversight that ensure consistency and accountability. Think of it as a well-lit hallway with clear exit signs rather than a bunch of locked doors and random staircases. Use internal key servers to publish and verify public keys. This makes key distribution simpler and reduces the chances of man-in-the-middle attacks. Make sure your infrastructure supports key expiration checks, revocation list propagation, and usage auditing. Some companies go a step further by integrating PGP key management into their identity and access management (IAM) systems. This lets you tie key usage to individual user accounts, enforce password policies, and track who's using which keys and when. Training also plays a huge role here. You can have the best tools and policies in the world, but if your employees are emailing private keys or failing to verify public key fingerprints, you're still vulnerable. Make secure key handling part of onboarding and reinforce it with quarterly refreshers or phishing simulations. PGP key management isn't rocket science, but it's definitely more than a checkbox on a compliance form. It's about building a system that protects not only your data, but your people. A system that accounts for human error, technical failure, and the ever-evolving threat landscape. Start by understanding the full key lifecycle. Know how to create, use, rotate, and revoke keys in a way that doesn't leave your organization exposed. Build in strong, secure backup procedures that don't rely on hope or convenience. And most importantly, create a culture of awareness where encryption is seen as a shared responsibility, not a technical nuisance. Because at the end of the day, encryption is only as strong as the way you manage it. Take control of your encryption strategy. Download your free PGP key management checklist today. It's packed with clear, actionable steps to help your organization securely generate, store, revoke, and back up PGP keys. Ideal for IT teams, compliance officers, and anyone responsible for protecting sensitive communications. Need expert help implementing best practices? Request a free consultation with the Tileris team. We'll walk you through real-world solutions, policy templates, and practical advice tailored to your organization's needs. Want to see how AI can streamline encryption management? Ask for a demo of Tileris AI agents in action. Just drop us a message via our contact form, and we'll show you how automation can make secure communications smarter, faster, and easier to manage. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching.